Program Support Family Child Care Network, where we supervise up to 140 family child care providers across Brooklyn and Queens. And I'm also the founder of the Flourishing Preschool, which is a Pickler-inspired approach to childcare. And we're here today with some esteemed childcare providers and educational specialists and coaches to talk about the very serious incident that happened in the Bronx, and more so to give families, parents, some assurance that this was an isolated event and that there are many precautions in place to protect children's safety. So we hope that after viewing this broadcast, that you feel much more secure and safe in your choices about childcare providers. We're hoping that we can give you some anchors to root your decisions in when you are deciding the family childcare provider that's right for your child and your family. So to start this discussion, we are going to play a little video that we made that will give you a little background information about the incident that happened in the Bronx, and also give you some steps you can take to protect yourself and your child. If you want to protect your child in a daycare program, pay attention. A child died in a daycare in the Bronx.
These are really hard moments. This is not supposed to happen.
The father of 1-year-old Nicholas Dominici is distraught after losing his youngest child following exposure to fentanyl inside this Bronx daycare.
It's not the fault of the parents. That is the worst thing that can happen to any family. The child was exposed to drugs that were being made in the daycare. One died, and 3 other children are in critical condition. I cry for that child and that family. That's why I made this video. I made this video to highlight the things you need to know before you enroll your child in a daycare program. So there are 3 things that you can arm yourself with so that you can protect your child. First, licensing. Make sure that the program is licensed and that you know the licensing regulations. So the provider in this case, she said she was just renting a room. She didn't know what the person was doing in the room. Well, the regulations in New York City and state say you can't just rent a room. Everybody over the age of 18 that lives in a home that has a daycare has to be fingerprinted. They have to have a background check, and they have to be approved in order to be in that home. So knowing the regulations is very important, and you have the right to ask to see the paperwork that shows every person that's been approved and have been cleared to be in that home that your child is going to be in. So 1, license and know the licensing regulations. 2, make sure that there are other agencies that will be supervising the provider. So the Department of Health, which issues the license in New York City where that child was at, they probably got their license from the state because it was a family child care license. They made a surprise visit the week before, but that was like a visit, every 6 months? You want to know, are there other agencies that this provider is involved with? For instance, are they in a Department of Education approved network? Every family child care provider in New York can affiliate with the Department of Education. Once they become a part of a network, they get 2 visits a month from their ed specialist, and they get 1 visit from the health and safety monitor. Or have they been rated by Quality Stars? Quality Stars is New York State early childhood rating system. If they've been rated by Quality Stars, they have a star rating on how good their program is. And they also get a visit once a month from their quality improvement specialist. Are they in Head Start? If they're part of Head Start, they'll be getting resources from the federal government and they will also be getting a visit once a month. So you want to make sure that there are other agencies that will be supervising the provider, because you're at work. You can't have your eyes on that program to see what's going on, but there are agencies that are required to go and monitor what's happening in the program. And the third thing is for you to really know what quality looks like, because parents have an intuition about what's right for their child. And if you know what a good program looks like, you give your intuition anchors to be able to tell you, does this feel right? Does it feel safe? Like one of the parents said they saw 3 men outside of the building, which made them feel a little uncomfortable. You want to trust your spider senses. You do have a right to ask the provider, who are those people? I haven't seen them before. What are they doing in front of the building? So those are 3 ways that you can arm yourself to protect your child if you're going to be enrolling them in a daycare program. License and know the licensing regulations. Supervision, know that there are agencies that will be coming in to supervise the provider regularly, and then know what quality looks and feels like. So thank you for listening. This is so important. We want to make sure that every child is safe and that you can go off and work or go to school or do whatever you have to do for yourself and your family. One way to know what quality looks like is we have a free downloadable book. Please take the opportunity to download this book. You can also Google the license of any program in New York State to find out if they are licensed and if they have any violations or anything like that. So I'm Emmy Gay, and I hope this was helpful. Please follow us, please subscribe. We're always talking about quality and safety for children birth to 3 in daycare programs. That's what we do. That's who we are.
You are muted, ma'am.
Miss Amy, sorry, you are muted. We can't hear you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate you for telling me that. And one of the things I said in my mind when I muted, remember to unmute. But what I was saying is that we're going to open it up to our panel first before we bring on our health and safety monitor to just share with us your reactions to what happened in the Bronx, and maybe some words that might reassure parents when they're deciding to put their baby in someone else's home for care while they have to work or go to school. So I'm really happy that today we have with us an esteemed early child care professional. Not only does she run a program, but she's also a trainer and an educator, and someone I feel a lot of confidence with when we're talking about early childhood care. That's Patricia Banjo. Patricia, would you like to share some of your reactions and thoughts that might help parents through this? Patricia, now you're muted.
Hi again, my name is Patricia Davis Banjo. I do have a little cold, not feeling too well, so, but when I heard about the news with a child dying in the Bronx, oh my God, I don't know what to say. I mean, I was lost for words. Tears were running from my eyes. What do you tell a parent when they come to pick up their child? Your child died, So it was heartbreaking for me. I was very heartbroken. And going forward as childcare providers, for her renting an additional space for someone, whether or not you don't know what they are doing, the regulation told you, it states that it's a no, you cannot rent any place inside there for someone else. And like you said, anyone else in the home, they must be cleared 18 years and older. So I don't know who wasn't doing their work right. I mean, I'm still a bit confused,
So Jess, what would you say to parents though, given that you're a trainer, you train people on health and
Well,
safety?
when
Yeah.
parents come to me and they have, I would tell them that their children are safe. We always provide competent supervision at all times. I have been in the field for 20 something years. I knock on wood, I never had any problems with Department of Health or even with the network that we are in. And we also get supervised by the network. We get supervised by Department of Health. And of course, I'm a trainer too. So that even worse, I'm part of the state, trainer. So I always have to make sure that the children are safe at all times and around me too. Anything happening on the outskirts of the daycare, I need to be aware of that too.
So like that parent that said they saw some men hanging around in the front of the building, how would you reassure parents around that?
Well, if I see that, I would want to know. I mean, I would call the police, and tell them that I see some guys hanging out, and I have never seen them before. Why are they hanging out? I have cameras, by the way, outside, so I can see what's going on. Yeah, so I think cameras is something that you should have. You can see who is in front, who is coming towards the daycare, who is in the back, who is in front of their door, so I have that. So I think a security camera is also good because you can stay just right inside and make that call to the police, because you are in a business, you're taking care of children and you just don't know what's going on the outside, but you saw something that doesn't make sense. 3 men just hanging out there. That's not right. And then you also know that you rented a room. So you have to try to put 2 and 2 together. But for me, if I see people hanging, well, I have neighbors who stand outside like little kids and stuff. But if I should see men just hanging there, like something is going on, I will make that call.
Yeah. Well, when I used to work in the daycare center, adults are not allowed in playgrounds for children. So when my teachers used to take the kids to the playground, if we saw adults just hanging around, we just call it in. And the local police department would send somebody right over. They send a car right over. And after a while, people get the idea the police are going to come if I'm hanging around and kids are in this park.
That's right.
So thank you, Patricia. We want to just hear from a couple of our other panel members. We have a provider who has an excellent program, has been providing childcare in the community for quite a few years. And this panel is so that parents can hear from the providers. I've been hearing all these experts and this and that, but the people who are doing the work have something to say about this. So I would like to welcome Tiffany Taylor to share with us your thoughts about what went on. What would you share with parents to alleviate their fears while they go to work or they're at school?
Hi, yeah, I'm Tiffany Taylor. I'm not just a provider, I'm also a trainer as well as the state representative for family childcare for the National Association of Family Childcare for New York.
Thank you.
I just want to say our hearts and our thoughts are with the families impacted by the children of the Bronx daycare tragedy. We're deeply saddened to learn of this unacceptable and senseless event. Across the country, family childcare educators tirelessly serve children and families in their communities with kindness, compassion, and dedication to offer safe and healthy care. Home-based childcare facilities are intended to be safe havens where children can learn, thrive, and gain valuable experiences. We remain unwavering in our commitment to advocating and ensuring the safety of children in home-based childcare settings. As always, I'm thankful to the parents and honored by their trust in allowing my program to take care of their most precious children. And as a family childcare advocate and the state representative for National Association of Family Childcare, I just want to say that we're doing everything that we can, and this is an isolated incident. This is not the norm. We're doing everything that we can to make sure children remain safe and healthy in our programs.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Tiffany, and also your background. And that's why I think this panel is important because, the optics of that, I just see, like this negative presentation of the hard work that so many people do and the care that so many people put into this work. Because to run a family childcare business, you really have to put your heart into it. It's not like running a hamburger store or, selling jewelry out. This is a heart business. So can you share, Tiffany, in your opinion, of course, it wasn't the family's fault in any way that this tragedy happened, but how might you help families to at least feel a little more confident about their decisions?
Well, as you had mentioned in your video, there is licensing. And in this case, licensing was involved. However, they did miss something. It's not the fault of licensing. Licensing is very thorough when it comes to inspecting our program. It's the responsibility of the provider to make sure everything is okay in our program, even if there is something, even if it's family or friends, you still have to put the children first. That's one of my core values in my program, is children first. And so I don't do anything, or I don't allow anything to go on in my home during private hours or during work hours that can harm the children.
Yeah, and that's really important. Children first. I'm so glad that you said that, because that has to be the priority for all of us. Children first. And I mean, there seems to be some issue. I'm not here to be a judge or jury of what happened. We all know, we saw what happened. But just in terms of being the parent, when you go into a program and you look around, what are some of the things that might be red flags for you?
If there are strange people in the program that the provider doesn't introduce you to. I know sometimes when parents will come to do a tour of my daycare, they might see somebody walking around that is not my assistant. It might be one of my sons, because I have four sons. And so I'll always introduce them to my children or to my husband and let them know who they are. Or if my nephew happens to come by that day to see one of his cousins, I'll introduce them to the parent, because I'm very transparent, I'm very open. So that's something that I'll do. Also, I know I live in an apartment, and so sometimes my neighbors do things that I don't do, like there's smell of smoke or in the hallway, and I'll explain to them that that is something that we try to combat by having we have air purifiers in my house, and we make sure that we open the windows to make sure that there's fresh air flowing throughout. We make sure that our hallway is clean. We clean and mop the floor outside of our door, and clean our handles on our door and our doorbells to make sure that nothing tracks into our home. We also have a shoe off policy, so they have to take their shoes off at the door to keep any contaminants from tracking into the floor, because we have children that like to crawl on the floor, and so we do things like that. And I always let parents know that I have a small dog. She is very sweet, 6 years old, and I always let them know. I even have her picture posted on the wall for the parents to see. And if they have fears, I keep her away, but usually they don't. And she'll come and she'll greet them, and they see how very friendly she is. She's always eager to see them and the children when they come to pick up or drop off. She's not in the daycare most of the day, but she does like to greet people who come in and out of the daycare program. And another thing that would be a red flag would be if there's nothing posted up for the parents or for licensing to see. So for me, on my bulletin board, I keep all of the documents that the licensor needs. There's my previous inspections, my health and safety plan, my license is up on the wall. I keep all those important documents up on the wall. And if a parent asks to see it, they can, I can just pull it off the wall and show it to them, or flip it up and they can see what they need to see. I'm also listed on the website, and I'm listed on Google, so they can look. I have reviews, so they can always look for reviews. I have a website, I have social media. All my social medias are open, public. Even my personal one is public, so you can see what I do, things like that. So I try to be as open and transparent as I possibly can, so parents know that they can trust me. And I always let them know my story. that the reason I started this is because I had my own children and I didn't have anywhere for them to go. And I wanted to be there, and it just developed from that. I mean, I was going to be a fashion designer. No, that's what I wanted to do. But then I decided that my baby was born, and I loved him so much and I wanted to be there for him. And I've dedicated my entire life, career, existence to childcare. That's my culture. My culture is childcare. And I do the best that I can in my program. And I let the parents know this is what I do. I tell them, call me. I have an open door policy. That doesn't mean my door's unlocked. It just means like, come whenever you want. You can come.
I'm glad you clarified that.
Yeah, you can come at any time of the day to see your children. I have cameras in my program. They're closed circuit, so I don't allow access for the other parents to see, because I still haven't figured out how to turn them off at night. But I do have cameras recording, and I can watch whenever I'm not in my program. Or if I'm just like, I'm in the back room right now, I can look on my phone and I can see what's happening live on my cameras. I can turn an alarm on. If there's something going on, I can turn an alarm on to the camera, so make a sound, an alert. I can speak through my cameras, anything like that. I'm very, very specific about the safety of the children. I always put children first. Like I said, that's one of my core values. It's professionalism, integrity, because I'm very honest with the parents, children first, knowledge, because we're in an ever-changing field, so we have to continuously gain knowledge, and quality. I always want the best quality of things for the children and for the parents. So I'm always doing things to make sure that I live up to my core values. So.
Well, it seems like what you've said are all really important things for parents to keep in mind. One is the transparency of the provider. So if you're a parent and you're looking for a childcare program, you should not leave there having any doubts. The provider's transparency, honesty, and every curiosity you have should be solved in a very apparent way. So thank you for sharing that with us, Tiffany. And we have one more provider on that's going to share their reaction and maybe offer some tips to families. That's Ali Samarigula. Ali, please say your last name, because I always mispronounce it, and I apologize to you for that.
It's Samriolu.
Samiolu. I got to learn how to pronounce it phonetically, Samiolu. So Ali, would you like to share some of your reactions to what's happened, and maybe some red flags that you can point out to parents who are looking to enroll their children in family childcare homes?
Well, I always say that when families ask me, it's a family owned or family operated. So anyone that stays here is obviously family outside the regular daycare hours. So that this way they don't have much of a thought of it being like unsupervised in the aspects. And I ensure that, even though the daycare is closed, someone is here at all times of the day to ensure in the building that nothing is going on, nothing is happening, and everything is running as smoothly as physically as possible.
Right. Right.
Thankfully, I haven't had any parents or new families reach out to me asking about this incident. And I was discussing when I heard about it, and my thoughts were like, how is something like this even feasible, possible being done?
Right. Right. Well, I think what you point out, Ali, is very important, that it is family childcare. So everybody in the home is supposed to be family, and those eyes are on the program 24 hours a day. So nefarious things can't be happening or shouldn't be happening without the provider's knowledge. So that's very important. Are there any tips on red flags that you'd like to share that you've thought about since this incident happened?
Honestly, I can't really say red flags wise. I mean, my ordeal has always been like, if parents have requested videos of anything that's happened here in the incident in general, I always invite them in my office to give them access. So it's something that's being looked at together, nothing being looked at outside of that scope. So they see that it's consistently on, and if requested, they could figure out what is going on or how it's going on. obviously for those areas where privacy is the issue, like where it's in a bedroom, for example, or the restroom, obviously the camera wouldn't be there, but you could see who's going in and who's going out of that room. So it's obviously being stated that someone is related to it, or that that can be here at the time of. And I always say that everyone that is on site is either already registered with the state or in the process of being registered with the state, because no one is allowed to be on site unless the paperwork is being submitted or in the process of being submitted, like fingerprints wise, at least.
Right, and the background check is being done on them.
Well, the
Right, so-
background checks takes 6 weeks to 2 months. The state allows the person to be on site as long as their fingerprints and application has been submitted until the background is clear, as long as the provider is on site and available to be there with the person in I can't even say the word right now, it escapes me. Person of interest is cleared.
Right, but do you think that the parents have a right to ask for some documentation about the verification that a person can be in the program?
I mean, if they're very what's the word? If their thoughts are there where they're very unsure of the program, of anything, I wouldn't, in myself, for the privacy of my staff, I wouldn't give them the documentation. However, I've also told parents that every legalized licensed daycare is listed on the OCFS website. So you can always look up the daycare that you're interested in and see what the notable violations are. In the event of, if it's a common occurrence that someone is found on site that's not legally allowed to be there, if it happened once, it can happen twice, it can happen 3 times, it could be a consistent problem. And I always tell my staff, the parents that come in, everyone is background checked, everyone is fingerprinted with the state at all times before they're even allowed to be in the program itself, as a reassurance. And if they really, really request that information, I could always give them a copy of the clearance letter that the state gives out and just black out the person's last name and personal information at that point. Because it's not, I don't have the right and the ability to give out their personal information, such as a cell phone number or an address or anything of that sort.
Right. Well, you share some important stuff with us, though, that they can look up the regulations, that they can look up the program. And when they look it up, they want to see the pattern. Like, are there any patterns of violations? And take those seriously if there is a continuous pattern. So thank you so much, Ali, for sharing that. And thank you all of our panelists. Now we have one of Program Support's head coaches, lead coaches. He's been with us for a while, and he's also done a lot of the health and safety monitoring work of programs. So welcome, Jaime. Jaime, would you just share with us some of the things you look for when you're doing your health and safety monitoring, when you go into family child care programs, and how that's done, so families can feel a little bit of assurance with the supervision that family child care providers who are in a DOE network get?
Yeah, this was something I was thinking when the provider was talking. We was thinking about the red flags, but if you see like the provider is affiliated with a network, that is a green flag. That is a really good thing.
Okay, let's talk about green flags.
that is a really good thing, because at least I'm an ed specialist. I visit at least 2 times a month every program, and I stay connected with my providers all the time. So things that I look, we always look for the license beyond day. We're always looking for the list of sign in and sign up of the program, who is in the program, why this person is in the program, why is visiting the program, because sometimes we have therapists visiting the program. Sometimes we have families visiting the programs, families of the provider, of the children's. We also see the shelter in place drills, the fire in place drills. We're always looking forward, like the providers are completing the different training and workshop to be on date on everyday health and safety indicator. We also are pretty aware, and this is one thing like I like most of our team on PS Family. Like we are four teams like management, finance, family workers, and ed team, and we talk through the programs. With the whole team talk about each program, like the children are absent too much for a program. For example, this is a conversation we have with the financial team, like, oh, what is happening with this child? He is absent 10 times on August. And we can reach the provider, we can reach the family. And that is a green flag that bring confidence to the family to not just trust but have some peace when they drop the children on these programs because it's a extended care
Right,
situation there because it's not the provider. We are a lot of people behind our providers
right.
trying to keep your children safe.
Yes, I appreciate that you identify green flags because it's good to know what the red flags are, but you need to know the green flags because you're here because you want childcare, because you need childcare and you've been approved by the city of New York to get subsidized childcare. So what are the green flags? And you name some very important ones because when you are with the DOE network, not only do you get Jaime twice a month, you also get your health and safety monitor, you have a whole financial team behind you, you have a whole family team behind you. And again, like I said, the more eyes on the program, the safer your child is. And I love the way you do that. You gave that example that, yeah, the provider is one person standing there facing you, but there's 100 behind her. So she's
Yeah,
not there alone.
it's like
And
that.
that,
And even I remember one time I took a picture of an activity on a program. I was showing on the to the team on the office, and someone looked at the picture and said, "You see that cable of the AC? That's a violation." And I don't figure it out. It was there in front of me, and I don't figure it out. The next day, I went to the program and said, "We have to move this cable from the AC because this is a violation." So it's a lot of eyes on the top of your program when you are affiliated to a network.
mhm. And I think that's important. And that's one of the main things we say, how many people are involved with that provider? Because the network and the DOE provides comprehensive support. We are not telling you to put your baby in somebody's home and then go off to work and hope throughout the day that that child is going to be taken care of. We make sure that the child is taken care of. But then there are other agencies, there's Quality Stars, which they're, monitoring the quality of the program. There's Head Start, who's monitoring the resources of the program. And I'm sure our panelists can think of other supports. We have the community trainers like Patricia and Tiffany, who are working with the providers one-on-one. So there's a lot of resources. And as a family, that's a green light. The more partners, the more support that the providers get, the more secure you can feel in your decision. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us, Jaime? I would be interested in hearing what a typical health and safety visit looks like.
A typical health and safety for the time, I would say like I stopped doing health and safety visits because always I went to a program is like a few things like I always look. Uh, the sign-in sheet is the first thing I always look because I want to know what happened on the program. But also I'm trying to make like a panoramic look of everything and seeing the different drills, the fire alarms, the exits, the different routes. Sometimes I talk if is there a new assistant. I asked the new assistant about the emergency route to get out of the program.
That's
What are
important.
the routes?
Yeah.
Mostly like always trying to For example, if the daycare don't have like different, don't have any divisions, like, okay, how's the kitchen is safe from the children? Do we have a nice fence? What is the doors locked on the kitchen? I always, for some reason, I always try to get a look on the bathroom. Maybe my provider will say like, this guy every time need to go to the bathroom. Sometimes I just go to wash my hands and take a look of what happened in there, because sometimes we are running on the daily basis and we left cleaning products on one place. We can have water leaks, things like that. So it's like a lot a lot of thing on the healthy and safety.
Well, I think also the health and safety, the coaches, when I go in, I'm an executive director, I go and visit the programs all the time. And I'm also looking for clutter. So there were some red flags, I think, in that program, like they had put the boxes of their drugs on top of the mat. I'm looking for clutter, and I'm asking people, and I'm asking them to move boxes. When I see that there's a lot of clutter, I'm like, okay, well, everything here should be for the children, and it should be in their reach, or it should be away somewhere where the children. And also those sleeping mats, I'm looking at, well, are there sheets? Are you washing the mats down? Like, do the parents take the sheets home every week and bring them back clean? So, I'm looking at those kind of things also, when I go into a program, do they have covers on the outlets? Very basic safety things. Are there covers on the outlets? Are there any dangerous materials? Are there any materials smaller than a quarter? That's the size we use to measure choking hazards. Smaller than a quarter that a child could possibly choke on. Like, those are all of the health and safety things that we just, we have the checklist in our head, but fortunately, our health and safety monitors, they have a checklist on paper. So they literally check things off to make sure that, you don't forget that one thing. Is the fire exit blocked? Okay, checked off, no. Yeah. So thank you. We're going to wrap up. I think we've shared a lot with people, and I want to thank everybody who came out today to share their experience, their knowledge, and also their professional opinion. We want to make sure that our families feel safe, families that are in DOE affiliated programs. And we also just want to let families know what quality looks like. And the green flags, as Jaime points out, they're very important. And then also the red flags, because I always say, parents, you have an internal intuition. Trust your spider senses. Just use what we're sharing with you as anchors for that intuition that you have about what's right and what's wrong for your child. So thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, everybody, for coming out.